Good day, everyone. You are welcome to yet another edition of your program, our program, the program that tries to connect the family, both internally and externally. This is Family Connect. Before we start, I'm going to say thank you to our subscribers, to those that have come to our channel, and those that have commented, and those that have supported us in one form or the other. You remember the last time we were here, we discussed divorce. Now we're going further to conclude our discussion today, and I'm still having the same guests I have the last time for us to do the conclusion. And on my immediate right, I have Chioma Openi. Chioma, you're welcome.
Thank you.
I don't need to introduce you again because I've already done that before. And further to my right, I have Tipre Makari.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
Welcome. Okay, now let's start. Divorce, we talked about it extensively last week and what it's doing and the havoc it has wreaked in our society. So let's take it further. What can we say is the root cause of divorce in our society? John?
Okay, thank you so much. I will start by communication is very, very vital in any type of relationship, and much more important in marriages, because despite anything, proper communication can remove so many misunderstandings and conflicts, and being able to come to a conclusion. And then other things that can also cause it is things like financial issues, lack of trust, infidelity. Not being able to trust your partner is a very huge issue, because whereby you trust your partner, you believe in that person, you'll be able to protect that person. And then another major cause is also third-party interferences, because whereby you have your partner, you cannot sit down, plan things. And while planning things, before you know it, outsiders have already gone to, have heard about it, and you hear people talking about it. It can be very disheartening, That means you can't really nurture what you're planning to be able to bring it to fruition. It's also part of what causes a lot of divorces in our society, and childlessness as well, which shouldn't be, because every child is a blessing to the parents. Even if they are not there, there's a reason. One can also adopt. In fact, there's also couples that even have children that even go to the extent of adopting a child to be able to help that child. So when we look at all these things, and we'll be able to understand it, I don't think it should be part of, or it shouldn't be what causes divorce in our societies.
Okay, Dipre, you just heard what she said. Do you have anything to add to that?
Anyway, she has said almost all of it. Just that, you see, in most cases, I look at the African culture in most cases, and most things that bring issues at home. Like she said, children. But there are some persons that even have children, but they still be divorced. Why? There's no male child.
Yes, yeah.
So our culture is different from what the Western world have today. And when we try to marry our culture with the Western world, it doesn't work in most cases. Truth be told.
But, sorry, I'm not taking that from you. I just want to, it's what you said just struck me. Because I know that recently in Nigerian law or constitution has been entrenched that it's no longer the male child alone who is entitled to the properties and the lands and everything that belongs to the parents. That scenario has changed, because that is one of the reasons why people look for male children, so that their names can continue, inheritance can be taken care of. But today, women or girls are not allowed to have that. And it was a long case that was eventually won by somebody who was just a lone child, just a female child that didn't have siblings. So she had to fight her battle to be able to retain and maintain her father's.
She succeeded. Brothers. She succeeded because she was fighting against the father's brothers or sisters.
Okay.
It was not purely her own siblings.
Yes.
Because in every, let's take for example the eastern side of Nigeria. the southeast of Nigeria, where the first son, even there are 10 sons, the first son, if they are going to share in formula, the first son will take half first. Then they'll share the remaining half. He will take part if he's willing. So those things they are writing in the constitution. Most persons still follow the traditional way. And in most cases in Nigeria, we have a situation where when a man leaves and he has maybe 5 daughters or 6 daughters, there's no young man, that marriage is in problem. Because sometimes, someday, his family members will come and say, will you just stay and die without your name being represented?
Okay.
And he might decide to take a second wife. That will bring rancor home. And at the end of the day,
Okay, what of instance when he takes the second wife and the story still
it will
continues?
continue now.
That's very interesting.
There's something you even mentioned about carrying out the parents' name.
Yes.
I even have a friend or someone I know. Some female even carry their father's name. They will put their father's name and put the husband's name. Of course, they also take permission.
That doesn't carry the father's name. My younger sister, she puts my father's name
Before
the husband's name, but that doesn't show anything.
Okay, but
But what I'm trying to say, before I got married, I had a discussion with my wife. We were discussing and we said, because my friend has 2 daughters, so I used that one to set an example for her. I said, she was the one that was even saying, if we get married and there's no male child, how would you feel? I took a deep breath. And at the end of the day, I said, well, in order to keep the marriage, what I'll do is, when the daughters grow to one point, I will beg any of them that if in case, if I'm alive, they are married, fine. And if I'm not alive, then get married. I will beg them, I will put it as an appeal to them that please, if you get married, discuss with your husband. That's my name, that's my first name. Make sure you call one of your children that name. Let that name continue.
okay.
That was what I suggested to my wife. At that point, she said, that's nice. But as God may have it, the girls are not going to see now, boys.
That is life. You know, this thing you just said struck me because you are open-minded to it.
Yes.
And creation answered you. That's the way I put it. That's why I see it. But there are cases where we have heard or we've seen people whose daughters had to have a baby or a male child for them
Yeah.
at home before going to get married. Just for their father's name not to.
That is tradition.
Or even adopt.
But the question still remains, is it what it should be? Is it the foundation we should lay for ourselves as far as marriage is concerned?
You see, the only thing I see there is, like I said, if you try to marry the Western world, their tradition and ours, it doesn't work in most cases, except the 2 persons involved are understanding. That is when it can work. But if you're marrying a traditionalist, there are some persons that you don't tell them anything outside the tradition because they will not listen. So if you're not marrying a traditionalist and your partner seems to understand the life the Western world lives, it does good to you. But when you marry a traditionalist, it's a difficult situation anyway.
Okay.
It's a difficult situation.
So John, what do you have to add to that?
In fact, as we were talking, something struck me because it's just like talking about values in families and all that. When we lose our path, that's when all these things comes in. Because whatever we are doing, we should also bring spirituality into it. That's how I see it. Because when we know whether it's a child, a male child or a female child, it doesn't matter. A child is a child. You found out there are some homes that even have boys. That home is totally gone. The boys just live their life and you find out if it's one girl that is in that family, it's only that girl that can hold that family. That these days, even most fathers or most couples even pray for girls. And they say if there is no girl in your family, that in fact, once there is a girl in your family, it's always a blessing. And I know a lot of couples that only have girls. And they're living happily, no issues. In fact, I have a friend, he has 2 daughters. When the wife was disturbing him about his son, he told her, any day you take him, in fact, any day you even take him, just know that this marriage is gone. Whether it's going to be a son or daughter, I don't care. You see these two girls, I'm okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it depends on individual perspective. But when we know that, when we bring in spirituality into it, you know, we'll find out that these things doesn't matter. Name on, when you leave the earth, which name do you even carry?
That is what I wanted to ask now.
You understand? You don't carry any name.
I agree with you. No, like I said, I agree with you. But it all depends on who you got married to,
Yes.
and the family you got married into.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like you said, the values, most families have their own values too.
Yes.
And if you're not up to that value that they have, you see there will be problem. And if the man too listens to his family very well, at the end of the day, it's an issue. Because when the family comes around, you go, family fuller, family fuller, and let make my name no loss. Once that thing start coming up, you see that there's a problem. Even if the man was not initially into it, they'll talk him into it immediately, and you see him start behaving funny to the wife or something. So, most cases, this side of the world, most of us we do pretend, but let's be realistic. A male child in Nigeria today is very important. Take it or leave it.
Is it for this generation or the previous generation? Because what we know today,
correctly, that's what I'm saying. Most people that will tell you that it doesn't concern them. Like I said, there are some persons that are educated, but they're traditionalists. No matter what kind of education you give to them.
Okay.
And there's no way most men will live without a male child. In fact, that's the number one priority. A male child. They will prefer let them at least have one. Even though they're going to be an imbecile. Somebody that answers their name is that.
But they know the funny. Let me.
Let's see. It
sounds so funny. It says that actually, when you look at the whole thing, I think that's my feeling. Is one of the problems we're having in our society today.
That's one of the things that is breaking the marriage.
Yes, this question of my name must continue. My name must be there. And with that, you see some children or some male children behaving funny, doing as they want, believing that is their entitlement.
Yes.
So with that behavior, they say they can do and undo because you need me. So because if they feel you need them,
yes.
So they become nuisance. Some of them become nuisance in the society. So we have to try, for me, we'll try to see how we can eliminate that sense of entitlement.
Okay, sorry to cut you. I want to bring in something. The Western world today, some people do not give birth until death. I think I know one, if I've not forgotten. There's this German couple, I think they did not have children. At the end of the day, they were very rich. They willed their property to dog. How many Nigerians will do that? We don't have it. That's why I'm saying, when you say girl child, yes, it's a good one. But if there's no child in that house, would any Nigerian man will his property to a dog?
And what would the dog do with it?
If the couple they have a dog,
Like I keep telling people, if I want to copy something from somebody, it is better I eliminate what I was doing, not trying to blend both of them. We grew up to know that we're Africans, and the most important thing is our traditional marriage. If I pay a dowry of a woman, definitely she's my wife. There's no need of me saying she must wear a long gown. Do you understand? It's a borrowed marriage we took from the Western world.
Okay, let's not because it went too much on this gender issue as far as couples are concerned, marriage is concerned, that is bringing divorce here and there. Now let's look at, can roles actually be a factor that can generate to the point of couples saying, look, we are done, we are no longer doing this, let's go each other's way. Can roles played by the couple? I mean, when it comes to roles, I mean what we see as your role in the marriage. Can it be so bad that it can lead to such divorce in a relationship?
Absolutely, it will. Because each couple should know their roles in a home, and for the man, it's very important he plays his role as well as for the woman. Because reach a compromise, even because sometimes there might also be conflict, misunderstandings, or there might be pressure, but being able to understand yourself and being able to, you know, intertwine your roles to be able to have that harmony and peace in the home is very important. You know, imagine if a man is not really playing his role. First of all, and maybe going about it with an attitude, he will lose his respect in that home. And once his respect is gone, assuming the kids are growing up, the environment, whatever they are going to see, is going to also make an impact on them. I've seen a home whereby the man does not even care what happened. He does not play his role 100%. If I say 80% is an understatement. 100% he doesn't play his role. There was a day the daughter told him that something is finished in the house. The word he used for that, for the child said, send back to sender. Imagine a child that is not even up to being a teenager, growing up in such a home. You know, it will take the grace of the Lord for the mother to nurture that child, that this is not how a home should be. You know, so roles play a very important. Each couple, each individual should play their role very, very well. With that, once there's harmony, peace. In fact, that's the best marriage, and you know, a blissful marriage anybody can always pray for.
Well put. So, Dipe, you heard what she said.
Yes, I heard what she said, but the point is it only the side of the man? Because yes, financially, the basic thing is the finance. And when a man is broke and there's no money, frustration sets in. And like she said, if there is money, the man will have said that word to that child. Let's get something straight. There are things that you say out of frustration. You know, there are things that, because if I take myself for example, there are times that I don't even think if I wear clothes. As soon as the money comes in, what are the children going to eat? What is not available in there? Let me get it. Let me do this, let me do that. So when the money is not there, you're only sad. And any slightest provocation, you say things you're not supposed to say. Yes, we have some men that has their own life to live, but in most cases, it's not because the man couldn't meet up with his financial role. But if the thing is not forthcoming the way it is, there should be an understanding between the wife and the husband.
Absolutely.
This thing is not coming the way it's coming. Let's reduce our spending. They will discuss about it. And some women, you know, it's just like you living in the flat, you're living in a duplex with your family, and sometimes some of the things are not working the same way again. There are some women that will not take it. They will consider going back to live in a 2-room or 1-room, 1-bedroom or 2-bedroom flat. There will be no car. You know, they live the life that they have friends that are looking at them as big babes and so on and so forth. So how would I go back to that? They can decide and walk away from the marriage.
Okay.
Once the finances start.
Okay, but let's look at it from this angle. We just talked about men being financially okay. There are these times where, or it's situations where the woman is actually the breadwinner,
Okay.
and the man is not happy about it. The man is even frustrating her life. The man is even making it difficult for her. The names will be given to her, to the point where she will be wondering, why did I even get into this? So we're still going back to, it's not just the man not having the financial strength to take care of his family, but even when his wife is playing that role for them. I'm talking in a situation where the woman does not have attitude. She's ready to carry the family, but the man is not happy about it. He's trying everything to bring her down. What do you say about that? Because we have incidences of such.
Well, in most cases, like you just said, what I want to just say in this whole issue is, if a woman is the breadwinner of the house, you see, playing with a man's ego is a dangerous one. Yes, well, like you said, when the woman doesn't have attitude, but there's no way, sometime, someday, there'll be an argument between the both of them, and she will not say a word that will bruise the man's ego.
Okay.
And once you bruise a man's ego, it's like, in fact, he lives to, whatever thing he's thinking is how to become who he's supposed to be so that you can be underneath him.
So is this supposed to be, that is the question now, is this supposed to be a partnership or master and servant?
Now, the issue is, like, if the woman it's having good attitude. Yes, some men, even you give them gold, they still have that character. Do you understand? Some are sadists. Some don't want a woman to be ahead of them. It's like that's the environment we find ourselves today. As Africans, we believe we are supposed to give to our wives, not our wives give to us.
Okay.
Do you understand? And that thing, for a man to calm down, his wife is working, bringing food, doing this, buying him clothes, giving him pocket money. Yes, some of them will take it. And when if he's sitting with a circle of men, they will always tell him, I'm going to go sit down with you, man. No, man.
That's the way. Let them know.
I'm talking. They will definitely know. There's nothing that is hidden. It's like you see a man every day in the house. The wife goes out, come back. Do you need them to come and tell you?
But must they be in the house?
No, I'm asking. No.
I understand
what you
understand
from. Yes.
Do you understand?
Mm.
So in most cases, those are the bruises I'm talking about.
Okay.
You understand? Once those bruises start coming, the man doesn't think well again.
Okay.
Doesn't think well again. Because most women, yes, you might see them outside, they don't talk. They don't tell friends. But when they're having one-on-one chat with their husbands, what do they say to their husbands? Very, very important.
Okay. You know, this discussion is something, it's so vast that just a few minutes is not enough. But the question I'll throw to you before we conclude it is, what is a situation where a woman, as a woman, you're a woman now, a situation where a woman maybe makes up a lot of money or gathers some amount of money and gives to the husband to start up a business or to start up something that will generate income, and the money is squandered. As a woman, how will you feel?
Of course, you won't even feel okay. You know, that's where effective communication comes in. And in fact, let's forget about man, woman. As a human being, let's assume you're staying alone. You have a responsibility unto yourself. If we start that, then imagine you have one or two other people in the same house. When you know you have a responsibility, for goodness sake, whether the woman gathers money to give you or whether you seek for the money to be able to set up something, that sense of responsibility should make you keep going, honestly, because if everybody have that sense of responsibility, have it onto yourself first. That I have responsibility to feed myself, to clothe myself, to put a roof over my head. If you have that, there's no how you won't think of the next person, honestly. So imagine somebody being able to want to assist you. You should be very, very grateful and make the best out of it.
Okay.
You know,
it's vast, like I said.
Honestly,
but Dipriye, can you give us your final words, closing words before we round up?
Anyway, if we are talking about the cause of these divorce issues, there are so many, so vast that we cannot even mention all of them, because there are some cases that shut up can look
is
to
an issue.
shut up and divorce the persons. And as a matter of fact, you see, like she said, communication number one, and two, the person you're getting married to. There are persons, like the last time I said, most people pretend to be who they are not. And once you find out the truth about them, you see that one issue to another, one issue to another, at the end of the day, you divorce. So I will advise in anything we're doing today, in terms of marriage, we should be careful with what we do, with our decisions, with what we say to our partners at any point in time.
Thank you very much. So John, your parting shots?
Yeah, just like you said, there should be effective communication, trust, being able to have that mindset that if I can protect myself, I can protect the next person. And what I cannot talk about myself, I shouldn't talk about it for the next person. You know, when we have that mindset, there's no how we can go wrong. And when our own consciousness is also alert to know when we are, overstepping our bounds. And then, whatever you have in your family, keep it to your family. It's very, very important. Let the next person, the third party, not even know about it. There's nothing any two human beings cannot resolve if you make up your mind to it. With that, apart from being in a home, it also extends to the society, because if you can't maintain your home, you also cannot maintain, relationships outside. There will also be issues.
Thank you very much. You just summed it up. That is very important. Maintaining that relationship, keeping those values, communication. These are things we cannot but live with. If we do, a lot of problems would have solved. Because he said, if you don't talk, nobody will know what is in your mind. If you don't express yourself, nobody will understand you. So it's very important that we put that in our daily lives.
A closed mouth is a closed destiny.
That is it. So I'm going to say thank you very much to Chioma and the prayer. You've made this discussion worth a while. From the last time we were together till now. And I'm going to say thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for having me.
Okay. So our beautiful listeners, those that come to our channels, those that come to view what we do and take one or two things away to help themselves or help our society, I say thank you. And then I'm going to urge you to subscribe and to even let your friends, family know about this, because we're trying to give or build a better society for all of us. And through these discussions, we get to solve some problems which we may not even know we are solving by somebody listening to us. So I will repeat our email address, which is family.connect97@gmail.com, or you can write a comment to us. So I will say thank you once again, and I'm looking forward to being with you some other time. I remain yours truly, Chika Nnamani. Goodbye.